Hey guys, so welcome to my channel. Of course, right now we are not completely started, so I just wanted to kind of let you guys know if you are thinking that you want to tune into this stream. I was hoping to get started at about 8:10. I'm not so sure I can come back, but in a few minutes I will have to kind of come back to see if we will be able to tune in live within a few minutes. In the meantime, we can just listen to some cute beats, you know. Alrighty, so I will be coming right back, and just give me like a minute or two. I will leave you guys to listen to some music if you're interested, but I'm going to go and check see if we'll be ready to get started at 8:10 or if I'll need a few more minutes. So, you know, grab your popcorn because we got some couple things to talk about tonight, okay? All right, give me one more minute. We're gonna go and get started right now, and hopefully people can join on the flyby, on the go. Probably wondering by the title, what are we talking about tonight? Well, first of all, shit, it's winter. The winter solstice is already passed. So happy winter. Furthermore, that's not what we talk about though. We didn't talk about that. Okay. Welcome to my channel, Aquastar Goddess. If you are new here, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new video. Smash the like button. Come on in here. Now, I apologize about the little bit of a wait, but I was trying to see if people would be present for the video, stuff like that, but it's okay. So, yeah. We gotta have a serious conversation here, okay? The conversation that we need to have tonight is about groupthink. Oh damn. Oh damn. Okay, hold on. I've misplaced my phone, which I need in order to get through this conversation. Oh, here it is right here. Here we go. I found it. Okay, I got my phone. I got it. I got it. So welcome to my channel, Aquastar Goddess. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new video. First of all, for those of you that celebrate Santa Claus Day, happy Santa Claus Day. And I hope that you are going to take the time to enjoy this time with your family, because a lot of people get days off and you don't have to work tomorrow, so that means that you're going to have a day off, and that is very special. So take the time with your family and your loved ones to enjoy them. That's what this is all about, or that's what it should be about anyway. Tonight I want to have a quick conversation with y'all, and I want to go into gaining a better understanding, because the fact that I think the fact that we have the access to the internet, it has also given this idea of groupthink. And so a lot of times somebody might hear something, hear one term, hear one concept, and then all of a sudden everybody's using the word, and most of them have not researched the word to understand what the fuck it actually means. So let's go into what accountability actually means. Okay, we're going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so while, and this is a topic that has been kind of swirling around the internet and internet conversations, aunties and uncles on the internet for the last couple of years have been throwing this word out, but it seems as though the majority of the people that use the term and use the word don't actually know what it means. So tonight we're going to define it. So yeah, I want to know if you are out there and you are interested in tuning in on the live. Let me go ahead and make sure that we highlight that you can actually tune in live right now. So go ahead and click in if you are intended to be a part of this conversation. I want to go ahead and get you into the stream now. And if not, that's okay. But let's go into it. Let's talk about it. What does accountability actually mean? Because I think that sometimes when people are feeling some kind of way, or they want to say something, and here we go, and they want to say something, they use the term in a way in which it does not actually mean. So we got to define that. So welcome, Nuck and Futz. How are you tonight?
I am okay. I like to make a public statement real quick
Sure.
because I feel like the apology should be as public as the disrespect is.
Mm.
So I want to apologize to you personally for letting my emotions, my anger, my hurt take me out of who I'm trying to be as a person. So I called you all kind of names and did all kind of things I'm very regretful for. But I wanted to publicly apologize and say I'm in a bad space. Didn't even mean it. I think I pushed buttons for the wrong reason, and I'm not getting the reactions that I want. But I want to make sure I publicly apologize because I was so publicly disrespectful.
Okay. I appreciate that. I can also apologize to you for allowing whatever it was that went down, for allowing whatever the conversation was to drive me forward into some actual bullshit behaviors and actions. I can apologize as well. So I guess I appreciate you for saying that. Did you have anything to kind of preface this conversation with before I get started on the topic tonight?
About accountability.
Correct.
Because I read like the linear notes at the bottom, and I got more to address about that than anything.
Okay.
But I can wait. Go ahead, and
Great.
when we get to that point, I can jump in, or if I.
Sure. Good. So let me go ahead and just kind of preface this conversation by saying this. First and foremost, the internet is a great place. Okay. The internet's a wonderful place. It's a great place that you can be. The thing that I love about the internet and access to video and things of that nature is that we can all come together, have conversations, not be in the same place, and we can still have discussions about various different topics and gain understanding and or more knowledge, more awareness, etc. But the one thing I think that really irks me about the internet itself is groupthink. and how groupthink takes people from using one term, one concept, one idea, and then running with it even before it is completely understood what the hell we're talking about here. Okay, so I just want to say that one of the terms that has been very popular for quite a while, actually, is the term accountability, right? For all of you out there who keep throwing this word around but don't know what the fuck it actually means, I just want to go into the term and actually define it for you real quick before we actually get to talking about what that actually looks like in real life. Okay, so let's go forward. I'm just going to pull up a couple of definitions that I took. So, accountability. So, defined by Oxford Dictionary, the fact or condition of being accountable, responsible. Okay. So now we want to go and look at it. But one of the things that I do when I look at defining terms and defining definitions and getting understanding of what a word means is I go into the root words, the root causes, the root understandings of those words. So it mentioned accountable. So let's go look at accountable. Accountable means of a person, organization, or institution required or expected to justify actions or decisions. Responsible. Okay. So responsible, but it also means to justify actions or decisions. Let's go into the second definition, explicable, understandable. Okay. Let's move forward because I did take a couple of other screenshots. Let's look at the term justify. The term justify is to show or prove to be right or reasonable. Number two, to declare or make righteous in the sight of God. So we can take that term there and we can I'm not going to define, we're not focused on justify today, but because in the term accountable, justify was placed in that term. I'm sorry, in that word. So I wanted to go back and look at that as well and kind of get a better understanding. Now I did another search, and this is the additional meaning of the term accountable. Being accountable means taking ownership of the results of a task. An accountable person answers for their actions and the results achieved. It requires the person to provide an explanation for why and how success or failure occurred. So the reason why I wanted before I go further, let's actually look at the term. Let's look at defining responsible real quick. So the term responsible means having an obligation to do something or having control over or care for someone as part of one's job or role. Let's go into the next term. Being the primary cause of something and so able to be blamed or credited for it. Okay, that's very explanatory. The next one says involvement in involving important duties, independent decision making, or control over others. Let's go further. Having a capacity for moral decision and therefore accountable, capable of rational thought or actions. So that really gives us a clear understanding, a well rounded understanding of the term accountability. And one of the things that I want to point out is that when someone is able to say, I have done this thing or done that thing, maybe this is why, that is actually what is considered accountability. If somebody can say, what if somebody can say, okay, yes, I understand this happened, but this is why, or if somebody can say, if somebody's literally just taking responsible, meaning that they are taking blame, awareness, they're aware, they're understanding, and they are willing to take accountability for whatever act or thing that they did. It does not mean, however, and let me go into my notes. Let me go into my goddamn notes.
Right when you do that, is it okay to chime
Absolutely.
in?
Go ahead.
Now, this is more devil's advocate than anything. If you take accountability about a situation and you're held accountable and say I'm responsible for this, but if you continue with said behavior, does that mean that you took accountability?
Well, it's about taking accountability for the results of something that has occurred.
Okay.
So, it's also about taking accountability for what you have done. So if you continue to take accountability, then that is the act of being accountable.
Okay.
By definition anyway, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this is by defined terms. So I want to go into something really quickly with you guys. First of all, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a wonderful day, all that good stuff, good stuff. Let me see if I can pull this up here on the YouTubes so that I can read off. Oh, it's better probably to do it over here. So let's take a look then just a little bit further, because my point in bringing this up was actually didn't have anything to do, with me and Gino. It's just because when the group thing comes up and people start throwing stuff around and then trying to talk about stuff without really having no real understanding of what it is, without defining the terms so that everybody can be on the same page, that's
That's
when it starts
dangerous.
to become a big issue, because everybody think that they know what they're talking about and then you don't.
That's dangerous. That's what, to me, that social media, like you said, the group thinking thing. That's so dangerous because that means lies or misunderstandings can spread so quickly, and put a haze or a cloud of smoke around something. To me, like, social media is so much stuff that, I mean, you see the same post from multiple people. It
Right.
have to be true or not. So that
Right.
whole group thinking thing is, I think it's very, very dangerous personally.
I think the group think it's dangerous just because it just like where people were able to decide, okay, we're going to do this with the hip hop industry. And that was about groupthink. That was ushered on. And the current state of, young girls is because of groupthink, is because of being influenced by just what you hear or hear somebody say without actually having a understanding of what it is that someone's talking about or the depth of that conversation. So what I wanted to go into was just because you don't like something doesn't invalidate the thing in which you don't like. Today, let's discuss what the meaning of accountability means, which we already defined what accountability actually means at this point. Further, doesn't mean that because you did something once that you have to be held in the same space of time of that action. No. So if you've done something once and you took accountability and responsibility for that thing. So this is kind of a devil's advocate to Gino's previous question, which is, if that thing is still going on, is that still accountable, right? So the thing is, we're just talking about the one thing, the one off, the one time or whatever, or the
Yeah.
culmination of some idea or concept when I'm saying this. Does it mean that because you did something once that you have to be held in the space in that space and time forever? Absolutely not. Does it mean that you have to be condemned for life? Absolutely not.
But I think we're all guilty of doing that. I know I am.
Let me finish real quick and then
Okay.
you can go ahead and talk.
All right.
Does it mean that because someone else feels a way, that you have to continue to feel that way or be in that energy? Absolutely not. Taking accountability is the action of taking responsibility and giving an explanation with a reasonable explanation for your actions, results, or whatever it is that ultimately ended up happening. So that does not mean that because you were dissatisfied with something that somebody did, that every time they talk to you or every time you have a conversation about it, they have to be like, I mean, yeah, I did it. I mean, the reality of the fact is, it doesn't mean it, but it doesn't not mean it either, right? I'm not trying to say that that does not mean that every time you have a conversation that you still shouldn't be honest about what's going on. But what I am saying is that you, there shouldn't be no forever punishment for whatever the fuck somebody did in the fucking past. How the hell can people grow if you keep cycling in their past?
That's true.
So the reality that I'm starting to understand and starting to see is that a lot of times, especially when it relates to social media, people use whatever information they gather to their own benefit. And that includes everybody. I'm not absolving myself of this, because sometimes it just happens to work out like that. But what I think happens is that um, it's important to be very social. What I'm talking about right now is more social responsibility, and
Mm.
social responsibility of those who know that you have a platform in which people are hearing what you're saying, and you're skewing and twisting concepts and ideas to spew this rhetoric or this narrative. And instead of looking at things objectively, you want to look at it from whatever the hell went down in your life, as opposed to on an outside view. Personally, a lot of things that I look at, I take myself out the situation and I look at it from an outside perspective as much as I can. Sometimes you really can't pull yourself out of a situation, but those are more personal things. But I generally try not to put my own personal feelings and emotions in conversations that we have on this platform for that reason, because
I,
I'm not trying to skew and to spew rhetoric and to skew the or twist the public concept of the things that we talk about here on this channel. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk. I'm sorry. I just wanted to kind of say a couple things there.
well, that's something that I need to work on because I have a hard time personally taking myself out of a situation because I'm speaking from my experience. So the only experience I have is with myself. But
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Um, so like with what you said about being accountable. So we all know that things a problem started when I started working at a strip club. Now, mind you, I haven't worked at a strip club since 2012. And I held myself accountable. I was like, yeah, it took me a while. It took maybe 5 to 7 years after that before I really realized what it did to my wife at the time. But I was accountable. Like, I wasn't looking at it like that. It was more of a money thing. I feel like I took accountability, but it's still something that will come up, anyway. So that's it.
Well, I want you to be aware this conversation is not personal.
Yeah, I know. But like
If
I said,
it's
it's hard for
personal,
me.
we can have our personal conversations off
Okay,
screen, unless it's like I feel like that you were using it in a way to kind of explain, you know what I mean, why how you relate to the concept of what we're talking about. So I get that, but I just want to be clear that we do not need to be discussing private shit here.
okay,
Okay. The reality of the fact is, you know, I had a it kind of does kind of go back to a video that we had a few days ago to some degree, because that term kept being thrown out, but it really wasn't about that. I saw another situation somewhere else, and once again the concept is being completely skewed. What I have seen overall, and I'm no offense and so sorry Gino, but I have seen a large group of male individuals over time cause destruction and damage, and not be willing to take accountability for that destruction and damage that was caused. At the same time, expecting women to take accountability for something that really didn't have a lot to do with them. Now, I'm not saying that this is about male or female, because it's really not, but I just want to be clear about that. As a woman, men, this is the thing that really is interesting, but I will talk about the female part. As a woman, women are expected to behave specific behaviors, specific ways, lest they be condemned. And when they don't, they get condemned. Let's just look back at Jada Pinkett. For how many months and how many years did people drag her for something that she did years before y'all found out, and probably years and years after she had dealt with multiple situations with Will? Let's not pretend like Will Smith is a fucking angel. Now that's what the internet does. The internet makes it look like that. But in the conversation that we had the other day, I took myself off. I watched the videos on purpose. That's the beautiful thing that I do love about the internet, is you can go back and look at the shit. So I can go back and look like, oh, I was wrong on that point. Like, ooh, that was not becoming of a lady, right? Like I can go back and look at my shit and say, ooh, that wasn't becoming of a lady. And I can go back and be like, nah, I was cool right there. I was cool right there. I was cool right there. So when I can go back on a conversation from a few days ago and I can see where I was cool and where I was fucking up or where I was right on something, I can also gain understanding to have future conversations for, better understanding right now. And it's not about my personal shit, but it just happened to be acting out right now. But it's still a conversation that needs to be had, because I think that people get it twisted. You are misunderstanding the actual term of accountability to begin with. The term accountability actually has the term justify in it. So what that means is that the term actually means for you to explain why you did something in a reasonable fashion, to give a reasonable explanation for why you did what you did.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna cut out real quick, but I'll be back shortly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now it has to have you looking around and looking at the internet and wondering, well, what the fuck is these motherfuckers talk about when they talk about don't be taking accountability and this and that and the third and blah 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 blah. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. So I just wanted to kind of talk about this conversation really quickly because I want to make sure that I want it to be clear. When I come on this internet, okay, when I come on this shit right here, regardless of what's going on in the background of my life, number one, first off, what's going on in the background of my life ain't your motherfucking business. Let me be clear. Okay. It just ain't. It ain't about me hiding shit. It ain't about me being fake. It ain't about none of that. It just ain't your fucking business. Now, if that happens to spill on the camera and it make it your business to some degree, then fuck, let's talk about it, right? Because once we get to that point, we'll fine. Let's talk about it. But I don't have an issue being real about my shit. Never. But also, some shit just ain't your goddamn business. And it's just that simple. It ain't about me hiding something or being, it ain't your business. It's that simple. So I'm talking about this a little bit because, there was some conversation that were recently had or some things that were recently said. And I'm just like, you cannot continue to twist. Hold on. I see that we've got Angelus. Hey, Angelus, you cannot twist reality just for it to suit you in that moment. Right. And I see a lot of people doing that across the internet. And like I said, sometimes it may look that way, right? Because let's be honest, the internet is a place where we come and we share our experiences, we share our thoughts, we share all sorts of shit. We share our happy moments. Sometimes we share our sad moments. But that's based upon that person, what they want to share. I don't got to share shit about my personal life. It ain't your fucking business, period. Like I don't have to explain that. Okay, I don't gotta share a fuck thing. But if I do decide to share some shit, understand that I'm gonna share it in the way that I would fucking share it. Just like, Nuck and Fuss, for instance, if he decides to share some shit, he's gonna share his shit in a way that he would share it. Just because he share it that way, don't mean I'm gonna share it that way. And just because I share it this way, don't mean he gonna share it this way, right? And so that has really, that's where I think we got to just get an understanding and kind of pull ourselves out of just this group concept that if somebody says one thing that, oh, we can run with that. Because what I've seen a lot of people do is they will, even the concept of, the internet being, just for show and this and that. Well, to some degree, that's what the fuck it's for. Like, come on, it really is. Like, let's be honest about that. But that does not mean that we cannot use the internet. We cannot use what we have, the electronics that we have, in some way to kind of learn and get this. The way that I mostly use the internet is for learning. The majority of the time, me using the internet is about me learning something. I'm always learning, finding out new information, trying to gain some more knowledge about something. Okay. And then I come here, I talk to you guys, I share information, teaching. So I'm learning and I'm teaching, And so the other day, we were having a conversation and the term accountability kept being thrown out. And I'm like, but that's not true, right? Because if I'm sitting here and I can tell you, yes, I did that. I know, you know what I mean? Like, okay, when we look at the definition of the term accountability, that's exactly what it is. So now we got to start taking a look back at, okay, well, what does accountability actually mean in the setting and the topics that we talk about it? The majority of the time, what we're talking about the term accountability across the internet is relationships. So now that we know that majority of the time when we're talking about the term accountability, it's within the construct or the confounds of relationship. And so if that's the case, we also need to realize and recognize that those are going to be emotionally charged conversations. There's going to be emotions involved in those conversations when it comes to a relationship, because when two people love each other, It don't really fucking matter how good or how bad the relationship is. These motherfuckers love each other. So their feelings and how they respond to life is going to come out based upon how they see the world, how they view the world, how they view the experience and the situation, how they view what they're going through. And they are going to emote based upon how they're feeling with whatever has happened or occurred in the situation, right? So I want to be clear. One of the other things that I'm saying as well, especially with these dude podcasts, is we're dealing with a lot of people who are hurt. And hurt people, right? Hurt people. They don't just hurt the people that are in their immediate surroundings. Great. They may also be hurting other people unknowingly. Not saying that it's intentionally. It could be unintentionally that these men that are on these podcasts saying all this bullshit, oh, it's got to be this way, it's got to be like that. You are also hurting future people because now you've got other people being influenced by your bullshit. And then they carry on the bullshit. They carry it further. So now you're not just yourself and hurting the people that you're dealing with, but you're also hurting other people's growth and other people's expansion. And that is what we have to talk about. This here internet is not, for me, from my perspective, this here internet is not just to be sitting here and bullshitting. We supposed to be here learning, growing, teaching. We got to go through our healing, and the healing process is not cute. The shit is fucking ugly. And sometimes it gets real bad. Okay? That doesn't make it okay, though. You know, as a group, we all got shit to learn and grow from. And that's okay. But I just had to come here and check y'all on some shit like that real quick. Because motherfuckers want to throw this term out, but then don't know what the fuck it means. And I know you don't know what it means because I'm listening to you talking. You don't know what it means. Did you want to get in on this conversation any further, or are we done? So bear with me 1 second, y'all. Let me see what my son got. Is it cold? It's cold. Okay, so anyway, you know, I think that it is important for us all to recognize, though, in general, that in the moments when you are experiencing the pain, though, behavior, accountable. Now, I want to ask Nuck and Futz if it's okay for me to share another example or an example in which accountability was not had. But let me wait until he gets on the camera. Let me wait till he gets on here. Because I'm not trying to upset him, you know, just because I do care, you know, about his mental, emotional state. I'm gonna just leave that there, okay? I'm gonna leave that here. Because I watched that video from the other day. I did. I watched that fucking video. The reality of the fact is, I don't have a problem being aware and admitting where I was. Only reason why he found out anything went down was because I told him. Not to hurt him, but because I couldn't lie to him. That's the reason why I told him. Because I couldn't lie to him. So I was accountable in that moment. When I told you what I did, that was me being accountable. And when I explained to you what happened and why we got there, that was me in and of itself being accountable based upon the term and the definition. So I need y'all to be clear what the shit actually means before you go on the internet talking shit for no fucking reason. Here we go. What's good?
What's that?
So the other day, that whole scene that went down on camera, prior to it getting out of pocket, we were talking about triggers.
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to recreate that night. I'm just letting you know that now because ain't
I'm
nobody got
good.
time for the bullshit.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
good.
glad. I'm glad.
See.
I'm not trying to talk shit, but I'm just saying, like, come on, that was some bullshit. That was some absolute bullshit.
Well, you are the gatekeeper because I think my frustration started when I was just being muted because if I don't say what it don't matter. All right.
Yeah, I saw that part, but sometimes I feel like, okay, so we getting off topic. you know? Like, and when we start getting off topic, it takes the conversation around the world in some other direction that just don't even need to go there. You don't agree?
Nah, I'm still tripping out when I was like, I'm not even trying to be like you. Like, good. It's just how you did that, but that's okay. Go ahead.
So the other day, this whole situation went down. Now we were having a conversation on live, and we were originally, I believe, we were talking about triggers and what triggers look like, why do triggers happen, how do we deal with them, etc. Well, first off, we was both drunk, so let's just be clear.
Yeah.
We was both drunk.
Yeah, because it wasn't even though. I mean, it was
We
a
was
good
drunk.
thing.
We was drunk as hell. Like we was really just drunk. So ultimately, that's what it ended up being about. But still, it don't matter because even when for me, even when you drunk, like
Yeah.
you still aware. I mean, the way I get drunk, I don't get so drunk that I'm not aware unless I go to sleep. Like then I be going to sleep. Yeah. So anyway, the conversation kind of took a turn, took a twist, and went in a whole different direction that it shouldn't have gone because the conversation started to be kind of personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up saying in that video, like, you're just gonna, tomorrow you're just gonna be changing. Like, I just told him, like, tomorrow you're just gonna be acting different than you are right now. So why are you even acting like this right now? And my
Hey,
question was, like, why are you doing this when you know that tomorrow you're not gonna feel this way?
there's, I don't even want to justify foolishness. You know what I mean? That was an embarrassment, and I'm just done with
Yeah,
it.
I don't need you to be apologetic. Like, honestly,
No, but I get
it
it. But
happened.
still,
It's
it's
done.
just
It's
like,
like the reason why I mentioned that though is because very next day, like I said, happened, right? But the
yeah. I mean,
issue
but
was I
I
was
kind of.
expected to forget all of those things.
But you pointed out that I make fun of you about certain shit. That's like making fun of me because I wake up every day. I don't care what my wife does to me. I wake up every day in love with her. And
Well,
you
I
bring
wasn't
that
making
up.
fun of you, but I was pointing out that if you continue down the pathway you're going down, it's stupid because in the morning you're not gonna be feeling this way, and then I'm gonna be still mad. I can't hear you.
There's really no response from me for that because that's exactly how it played out. So
So a part of okay, so listen. Anyway, let's get off of that and let me explain this in a different way because I was trying to explain in terms of accountability and how this all looks, right? But let's not do that. Let's not do that. So basically, if something goes down and you end up doing some fuck shit, right? Saying some fuck shit or whatever, but then you just act like it didn't happen. You don't
that,
know how long another motherfucker gonna be in that energy. So you can't come to me and do this and this and this, and you know I don't fucking fool with that and that and that. And then now you want me to be cool and we straight and all this.
but that goes both ways.
Absolutely.
That goes both ways.
Absolutely.
So that's a very good point. You called it out that night. I ain't got no problem with none of that.
Absolutely.
It goes, but that's also you can't expect me just to. Never mind. You said don't make it personal. So go
Well,
ahead.
if you want to, you can, but I
No, no,
just I
no,
was
no.
trying to stay out of that because I don't want you feeling like no kind of way. It's just the only experience recently that I can think of right now at the top of my head that kind of helps to define accountability stuff. But the reality is that
Hold on. That next day.
your actions and behavior. This is why personally, like me, like I said, like even if I'm pissed off, like I try my best to just think about what I'm gonna say before I'm gonna say it, because I don't want to say something to you that's gonna make you hate me, and I don't want to say something to you that's gonna really hurt your feelings. Now, sometimes the truth is hurtful enough, right? That's another reason why. Because sometimes the truth is hurtful enough. You don't need to add extra bullshit on top of it. You don't need to throw low blows and punch below the knees, and you don't need to do certain shit to try to hurt somebody more, or tear them down more, because most likely the truth hurts enough.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of bring this into the conversation because behavior matters. You know, how you behave during situations, whether it's up or down, whether it's good or bad, that fucking matters. And some people, sometimes the things that you say or do are not forgivable. I want to go and just, sometimes they're not forgivable, right? And it could be because I ain't trying to do you like that. I'm not trying to go down that pathway. I'm not trying to act like that. I'm not trying to be pulled outside of who I'm trying to be, right? Like, I'm trying to be the best I can be. And if I can't be the best I can be because of some bullshit that ain't really had nothing to do with me as far as how I was responding or what I was saying or whatever, then that kind of makes you feel some kind of way. Go ahead and say what you got to say, because I saw you give a side eye right there.
I have nothing productive at this
I can't hear you.
So I have nothing productive at this moment.
So anyway, we talked about accountability in this video. What does that actually mean? If you didn't get the term of what accountability actually means, I implore you to go and look up the term accountability and actually get the definition. But accountability, taking accountability is the action of taking responsibility and giving explanation with a reason, with giving a reasonable explanation for why something turned out this way or that way, or why you did this or why you did that.
Have I? My question to you is: have I done that throughout the time you've known me?
Done
Like
what?
taking accountability, explain like, hey, I messed up, but this I was feeling like this and I handled it wrong. Even like when I stepped out on our marriage, long time ago, like I told you in a moment. You know what I mean? Like I've always been an accountable person. Like if I know I'm wrong, I'm not gonna run from that shit. I'm gonna face it right on. And even when it's called out, like you know you're gonna be like this tomorrow. And even when you said it that night, I was like, I know, you right. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, hey, I was wrong as fuck, man. And even a lot of times I do that, even when it ain't all on my shoulders, just because that's who I am. I always look at stuff on what could I have done differently.
I think we should
So,
have a conversation off camera.
oh, all right, no, go ahead, feel free
Feel free for what?
to say if you disagree with me. You looking at me like I'm looking at you. All right. I'm just curious what I
You've
never.
gotten better over the years for sure.
Okay.
100% sure. But you got to remember, that's another thing. We've been together too fucking long for you to be playing these games with me still. And I know who the fuck you are. Like, I've
Hold
been,
on, hold on, hold on. Let's slow it down. What games am I playing right now?
I ain't saying you play no games, but what I'm saying is I know who the hell you are. I've been with you for 20 fucking years.
So so I don't take accountability.
I just said it. I said you've gotten way better over the years.
So early on, what did I not take accountability about? Feel free.
I don't want to feel free because this ain't what we're supposed to be doing here.
Okay, I'm all right. So I ain't got no beef with you, little mama. It's a game or that's a war. I don't never win. So I've always felt like maybe it makes me question everything, but that's cool.
Everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notifications each and every time I upload a new video. Definitely smash the like button if I get an opportunity to come back live again. Absolutely. It is the holiday. Tomorrow, y'all ain't got nowhere to go. So what the hell you crying about? Oh, I can't come on live. Yes, you can. So I'll be back. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about something else. I just wanted to address this conversation specifically because I feel like sometimes people they hear a word and they run with it. And you don't even know what I can hear about what you talk about. You don't know what you talk about. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Goddamn big businesses always say that. She used to drive me crazy. Like, what are you talking about? But it makes sense. Makes fucking sense. Thanks, big business. Shout out to big business. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, okay. I got a greater understanding of that term. I got a greater understanding of what that means and why that can be said. So anyway, I will probably try to tune back in a little bit later where we can kind of be on a little bit lighter note. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I just wanted to kind of point out how sometimes the group think concept really just takes people down the wrong fucking path. And I think that, for me, as much as I can, I try to come on here and be as socially responsible as I can be, right? And the importance of that is remembering that, other people may come and watch this video and they may take the information and run with it. And they might be running in the wrong direction. Okay. So I feel, it necessary for me to make sure that I do call out things that I see as much as I can by being as respectful as I can. But also being aware, like I told y'all, listen, first and foremost, what's going on in my private life ain't your goddamn business. I want that to be clear. But if it happens to come out, I don't have no problem being honest and open and real about my shit. Half the time, that's the funny thing about this. First off, I just want to say this real quick, but because I noticed this too. So you were just like, you just wanted to be certain like Aqua, I got it like this. And I was like, really?
Hold on, say what now?
You said a bunch of bullshit.
No, but what that part that you just said, I just want to be what?
Well,
you said
sometimes you behave or you act as if I want to be Miss Perfect, right? That's not reality for me, because for reality for me, I'm just myself. I'm not trying to be nothing else. When I wanted to come on live and talk about what I had done, you said no. So I never came out and talked about it because you told me not to. So sometimes when you come out and say, oh, you just want the world to look at you this way, that's not really true. Actually, I wanted to come and talk about because we were going to talk about a whole conversation about healing from infidelity and shit like that. And I was like, yeah, talk about how I, did this and how you did that and blah, blah, blah.
And we had those conversations all
But you didn't want to talk about my part.
Because I don't want nobody to look at you in no certain type of way. That's me protecting my wife.
I don't have a problem with that, but I want to be clear that when you say you want to protect your wife, but then also you just want to look like Miss Perfect, that's not real. That's not realistic. That's not true.
No, what I meant more, I wasn't talking about the infidelity thing. It's just when I say there's a such thing as social media manipulation is when you get to talk to the masses about your point of view or how you felt about something. Don't necessarily make it my reality. So
yeah, but
that's more what I was talking about, not the infidelity thing. I mean, you was always leaving breadcrumbs on that anyway. So it wasn't like
I think that goes both ways, and I think it's important to remember. First off, we can talk about this off live, but I wanted to be clear that me coming to this channel has never been about me showing a perfect picture to you guys while being fucked up in the back. I've been willing to talk about my bullshit. I've been like, oh, tonight I'm going to talk about this and this and this and when this happened and blah, blah, blah. And like you just heard him say, he'd be like, nah, don't do that.
But my thing is about this perfect is you I felt like you minimize the effects that certain things happen early on in our marriage, which caused me to be a certain way. It makes it look like you're like, well, I blocked it out. That's different, but that makes you look like you perfect, and you had every right to feel this way. And it left me in a storm of trying to explain something that I had no explanation for. So that's what I meant more than anything. A lot of times, my biggest problem in life is communicating. Like I say shit, and people think I mean something else, and I don't even be meaning that like that. So that's something that I most definitely could work on.
I can see the ramifications of some of the things that you're referring to. I can, especially because they were kind of long-term or long-stemming conversation. So I get it.
It was in front of like, yeah. Well, we don't need to go farther than that. I appreciate you saying that. I'll say that.
Well,
and I don't got no problem. I don't got no problem being on live. We can talk about whatever. I'm not.
It's not nobody fucking business. That's it.
That's cool. But I'm saying,
and not to mention, like if I say any one thing that bothers you, you turn into a whole different story. You sitting here talking about I want to just protect my wife, and then you get mad and you just go fly off the handle to
the and like I told you, I am a hurt man that regardless of what happens during the day or what's been happening to me through the last few years, I wake up in love with my wife.
I understand that, but that's something that you should be remembering. If you know that you're gonna wake up and still love this person, then why cause the most destruction while you're mad?
because I feel like when other people don't give a fuck about the destruction of me, you're right. It's still wrong. Two rights, two wrongs don't make a right.
When you say other people, I'm the only other person you could be talking about. Potential, I'm the only possible other person you could ever be talking about. So I just don't agree with that statement. I just feel like for the majority of our relationship, it was me making sure that you had all of your specific needs, whether that was mental, emotional, physical, etc. And I didn't feel that was reciprocated.
You know what?
Period.
And when I took accountability about that,
I can't hear you. Kind of muffled.
I said, I took accountability about that years later when certain information came out. It was like, hey, that shut me down. I don't know how to deal with somebody thinking I'm doing something or accusing me of something that I'm not, and that shut me down. And it was wrong. Like, especially with me being 10 years older, me having life experiences, I still it's something that I struggle with. Like, I'm always gonna struggle with if somebody lose some money in a room and I'm one of the people in the room and I know I didn't take it, but they don't believe that. You know what I mean? It's just that's just who I am. I have a problem with that.
So
And
for me, with what you just said, I will say this to the audience. One of the biggest and greatest lessons you can learn from this relationship and this experience that me and Gino have had is if you're a man, don't play with your woman. If you know that's the woman you want to be with, don't throw other women in her face. Don't fuck around with other women in the beginning. Don't make her think that she's got to compete with other women with you, because that's going to cause insecurity in her.
but and we talked about this. I wasn't the only one who did that though.
Yes, you were.
Okay, I'm agree to disagree. Like I said, I can remember when I found out that you had a boyfriend. I was working at
It
McHugh. I
wasn't
was walking up
even
the
find
stairs.
out. I told you.
Yeah, that's how I found out.
Yeah, but you act like finding out is like you just going on the internet one day and you see a
No,
news
no, no, no,
reporter.
no. But
Like you go, you know what I mean? Like
that's
you
not
go down
that,
the street and somebody, you just seen somebody walking in with some other person. Like you didn't find out.
No, I
Like
did find
I
out.
told
I
you
found
what was
out from
going
you.
on.
I didn't say I found out through a detective or private eye or anything. I said I found out. Yeah, you told me.
Yes, I told
All you
you.
had to say was, "How did you find out?" I'd be like, "You."
But also, along with that, though, like at those times, you were involved and engaged with other women. You were living with other women. So to me, it's not really fair that you try to use that as
and
like
but hold on. Since we touched on that, how did you find out
find out what
that I was engaging with other women, or
I asked you
and then what happened?
and you told me.
Okay, so I've never been a liar.
I never called you a liar, except for when you were actually lying in the moment. That's when I call you a liar. When you lying right now, that's when I'm calling you a liar.
Quayla, when certain situation happened that was discovered years later, there was many times you said because of that situation that I was a liar
Well,
and
you
I'm not
lied
to be
for a
trusted.
long time about it.
About pennies under the bed?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. Like how I never lied
How
about
did
it
that come into the conversation?
because that's what I'm talking about. You brought that up because you found panties under the bed and that made me a liar and I was not to be trusted. And I've
That's
never
not
lied to
true. That's not true at all.
you. Okay, baby, I'm you.
Oh, that hook is still fire. What? I'm gonna let that play. All right, look. All I want to say is this. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you find somebody that you vibe with, that you like, let them fucking know. Don't let these dumbass social media guys tell you, oh, you got to manipulate them. You got to do this. You got to do that. The reality is that causes problems. That's what this whole situation right here. That looks like. I just want y'all to know that. Okay. So while I know that the universe, the internet has tried to tell these guys how to be when it comes to relationship, no, if you want to have a healthy relationship, you need to set a healthy mental and emotional standpoint from the beginning. Now, one thing that we've always had is we've always been honest with each other. So we've always had that, and we've established that consistently throughout our relationship. We've always been communicating with each other. So we've
some
always
some
established whatever the fuck needs to be said, gonna be said, regardless of whether or not the other person likes it, wants to hear it.
sometimes more
It
poorly
doesn't
than
matter.
others.
Huh?
I said I've done that more poorly than you have.
What do you mean?
I get so frustrated because I've always been honest. I'm an honest person to a fault. So when you say that I, I was only honest until I was lying and I was a liar, it was like I've never been a liar. Only
But
time
if
I
you
ever lied.
lie, if you say a
Oh,
lie, it's a lie, right?
okay, the only thing I lied about was me actually being interested in another woman. Like it was always you. So
No,
yes, a lie is a
lie
lie. So that
about
makes me a
other
liar.
stuff too that I'm not going to mention on this channel because it ain't nobody's business. But there are other things that you lied about too. But that's not really what we talk about, though.
Okay,
I
all
don't
right.
want to get off topic. I don't. I
Okay,
feel like
that's.
we
I'm
need
just
to get
curious
off
about what I've lied
topic.
because you said we was always honest with each other, and then you, in the same breath,
For
almost
the
said,
majority of the part, yes. Like we're not out here lying about all kind of bullshit. We're not doing that.
"Yeah,
So that's the reality of it all. But there was a lot of anyway. I just say that I would
no, no,
say if
no, no.
you want to know
We
how to
actually
set
talked.
up a good relationship, then keep it real. Be real with your person in the beginning, and do your best um to not be immature. You know, immaturity is a killer. A killer. Let's just leave that there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back maybe later. I just need to take this jacket off, maybe change my outfit, maybe go get some fresh air because I'm hot and I'm sweaty and I don't like that. So, anything you want to add finally before we go? Let's final thoughts. Let me put that up here. You're muffled.
Uh, I wish life had a little bit of rewind
What
because
now?
I wish life had rewind because as far as a healthy, good marriage, I know I picked the perfect person, but I'm imperfect and I did imperfect things or used stuff that haunted me throughout our relationship. So
That is something that I can say. First off, we can't get time back.
I understand that.
But I understand why you saying that, and I can agree that there have been some things that, there's been a couple of things that I can say I realize now were very damaging. At the time, I didn't.
That's
At the
fair.
time, I didn't. So
And that's you know what? For so many years, I wanted to be. I compare it to a man is in prison who did, know he didn't commit the crime, but he has to do the time. And to hear you to be exonerated about just that situation alone means the world to me. So it doesn't make me feel good, doesn't make me feel better because I'm not where I want to be in life, in my marriage, or anything. So there's no victory parties, but being exonerated on that, and then you taking accountability and saying I understand how that could have played a part is very important to me, and that's why you don't.
all right. As it relates to the conversation of younger people and younger generations, is there anything that you can give them to maybe do in order to help them be better suited in their relationships?
Somebody asked me this yesterday. He's a first time father, just recently married, and he asked me, he's like, "Do you have any advice you would give me?" And I'm like, "Well, time is precious. Make sure you live in every moment because you don't never know when that moment's not going to be there." So if I could say anything to younger people or people starting off with a relationship, cherish what you got, especially if you feel like I feel about the person that I fell in love with. You know what I mean? I ain't never want none of this shit to happen. So don't get defensive. Uh, don't get frustrated. If you a person, especially grew up like you're easily frustrated, so it throws you off balance. So you have to be able to learn the love language, learn your person's love language first of all, learn how to communicate in a way that they not just listen but can comprehend and understand the sincerity that you say. Um, Always be true to yourself. Always respect and honor your person Integrity is not what you do in front of my face; it's what you do behind my back. And always have integrity. It's very, very important. Always, also, the person you love, share them with love. Share them with love, and then be receptive of the love they give you. I was okay with. I was not okay at first with sharing love, and I was not okay with accepting the love they were trying to give. So that's the advice I would give.
Yeah.
Never give up. If you really believe in something, never give up. Fight for it. Even if you might look like a fool, you fight for it.
I don't know about that last part, but I agree with y'all. I'm just playing.
No, I mean if they gonna continue making you look like a fool, yeah. But if you see sincerity in when they do hold themselves accountable or they do explain, you can be like, okay, I can understand that.
Sometimes that's not enough though. Like sometimes, like, and here, only reason why I'm saying that though is this: there's so many layers that either you or I just didn't know about.
Yeah,
So, but that's a long time of layers.
it is.
So now I'm triggered now I got a trigger finger. I'm trigger happy.
Yeah, and like I said, I wish I could change so much, man, because it just
This wasn't for you to do that. This is not about
no,
us. It's
I
really
dig it,
about helping
but
the younger crew, the younger generation that's coming in, that's trying to get in relationships that are healthy, that are
well, that,
happy, that
well,
are
that's
loving
that.
the person that they want to be with. This is
Well,
about them. This is not about us.
that's I actually do get to have a rewind button in because I'm giving them things that I would do different. Like the worst thing I ever did was act like there was somebody else to make sure that you would come because I didn't really want nobody else. I just wanted you here, and I didn't even realize how that could affect everything. So
Everything down to like, because the way I was hoping that it would go with, oh, you come here, you need to meet my mom and my dad, and like all that stuff. You need to meet my family, you know,
yeah,
and that caused a lot of pain with my mom that I was not even cognizant of.
yeah. But also,
And
you know,
that is almost irreparable, honestly. But
yeah,
and I'm not telling you to take that blame. That blame falls on my shoulder. That blame falls on my shoulder. I will take the blame for that because that's my mom. But at the same time, it had a lot of impact. And I will take the full blame for that. Like I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with resting that on my chest and on my shoulders. But it's things just for me, from my perspective, if you're in the younger generation and you want to be happy with your person, I will say that calling out your person's bullshit early is important, but making them aware of the things that are damaging to you in the moment is also important. Like, and I can't really give you the words at this moment, like, what would you actually say to get somebody who doesn't understand your point of view to understand that what they're doing is damaging enough to you that it would make you not want to be with them? Maybe that's how. I would also say that if you're having insecurities within your relationship, first off, you need to find the root cause of that. The root cause of my insecurities with Gino when I was younger was that he made it seem like there's all these other women that I had to like compete with and all this stuff like that. I wasn't even comfortable being in that energy to begin with. Because
the
if you want to be with somebody else, go be with somebody else. Like I ain't got time for that. Like I could do something else with my life. I can go sing. I can do all kind. There was all kind of things I could have been doing at that time. I had a good job. You know what I mean? Like I had a good job. I was about to go to college. There were so many things I could have been doing with my life. But I was also young, and I was also knowing that, like, I had been telling my mom for years, or my family for years, I'm gonna marry Gino. So like, it wasn't no thing. It wasn't a question for me. So I would just say that addressing your own insecurities can be difficult sometimes, especially if you don't recognize that they're insecurities in the moment. So I will say that definitely calling out those things that bother you is necessary. Um, but then also, there are healthy ways to express an insecurity to the person that you love without it turning into something that can impact the relationship forever or for years. What are they are? I don't know yet. Okay, let's this is the moment where we turn to our therapist, okay? Because I don't have the answers for you on that regard, but I do know that there is, like, now I know what my insecurities are. You know what I mean? I know if I'm having a moment of insecurity, I know what that looks and feels like. At the time, I was like 19 years old. I didn't know what the fuck that felt like. I didn't. So, it's going to take me some time to think about that because we weren't really addressing that conversation today. I'm going to have to think about that. What does that actually look like? At the time I was 19 fucking years old. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what it looks like to understand that I am having a moment of insecurity right now, and maybe there's a better way to address this.
And as you say that, I dealt with frustrations, and certain things made me insecure in our marriage because of the security I placed on you. So I didn't even really realize that the whole act that I point back like this destroyed me was, well, you was kind of destroyed because you felt that you was in competition. And the fucked up thing about it is you was never in competition. I was just so fucking desperate to get you to come down here. Like I was like, I need her in my life. I was fucking desperate. And it's not like I made up a person. Like there was a person, but I already had my mindset. I'm like, no, this is her. But she was stalling for months and months, talking about you might be a serial killer and all kinds of stuff. And I got desperate, and it affected. I think that's probably one thing that affected everything more than anything, if that makes sense.
Well, I just know that I felt the need to question your honesty and fidelity from the beginning
I
in that
understand that.
regard because of the other women and stuff like that. And you may have felt like that also with some of the things that I was, because we were both just still living life while we weren't together.
Hmm.
But like once we started talking and everything, and we were like, okay, we need to start getting together, and I was really serious about it. I wasn't thinking about nobody. I wasn't talking to nobody. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't interested in anybody else. I knew I was going to be with you, so it wasn't no need for me to be entertaining other people.
Even in the
So,
moments, I would tell you my frustration. I was like, I don't even like her. I don't even like her. I said, I'm doing this because I can't be with you. And I'm sure I told you at the time,
but
like, and you
that's
were like,
not what I knew. To me, you're telling me, oh, there's this other girl. And she's.
no, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about Jamie and Shawnee. I was telling you, like, I don't even like them. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
knew
it's
that, but that
just,
was before we could be together anyway. So I wasn't tripping, like.
yeah,
But they were impactful because it was like they were there. They were stories that
yeah,
I could
yeah,
bring up and tell you.
yeah.
So for the young ones out there, listen. For the girls, listen. Understand what your insecurities are as soon as you can, and address them as it relates to being aware of your insecurities, understanding what they are, and working through them. But also making sure that the people that are around you are not using your insecurities against you because they will do that sometimes. Okay, and that can be damaging to you because it got you out here looking crazy because you're trying to find out the truth, and ain't no need to do that. If I'm being honest with you guys, I probably, like, looking back at everything, I would have left when Gino said that he was going to work at the strip club and he started working at that strip club. I would have left then because I knew that that was too much for me, and I told him it was too much for me. It's not because you're working in a strip club. It's because I already have this idea and this concept that you're looking for something else.
Okay.
So if you're looking for something else, then go be with something else. Don't have me sitting here with you, you know what I mean, trying to be a good wife and shit while you're looking for something else.
But that wasn't
So,
the case. But I understand why you're saying that. But that was never the case. And I think like now that you actually know me, And after everything we've been through, I still wake up and I still fight for my marriage. That if I had to go work in a situation where I'm around other women, it's not about me looking for somebody else. I'm trying to put my family in the best situation. Of course, during that time, I'll say this: you had no idea of who I was, so you had no idea. And I would tell you, it's like I don't even like looking for jobs. I got a job, I make good money, cash every night. Now you'd be like, oh, okay, you wouldn't even trip off of it. But back then, I understand why because of what I done. So that's fair. That's fair. If you know what, if you would have threatened to leave, I'd have left that strip. It wasn't nothing gonna stop me from us being together. I would have left the strip club. I wasn't about
It
to lose
wasn't
you
no
over
threats
nothing.
though. Like I don't want to throw out dry threats. I want to just do what needs to be done for me
No,
because
no, no. It wouldn't.
because
It, no.
that ultimately ended up causing me a lot of time where I was having children. These are the things that I was not aware of. First off, once we start having kids and I was by myself and dealing with and I don't know if that they were insecurities because I won't say that inherently I'm an insecure person. I'm not an insecure person inherently. I have insecurities. I'm not inherently insecure, right? So there were things that I might have questioned. There were things that would come up that I might be like, I don't know how to feel about this thing. But once I start having children and postpartum started coming out, I didn't give a fuck, honestly. Like there was a moment where I might have definitely had a psychic break.
But yeah, I would say this, not as a dry threat. If you'd have packed up and left, I'm telling you, I would have worked there long enough to get enough money, and I'd have came out there and I'd have got you back. And like, I'm not about to lose you over no fucking job.
Yeah,
So
well,
that,
I don't want to talk about the hypotheticals because that didn't happen.
all
What
right, man.
did end up happening was that we're here now. You know, like I
Okay.
stayed because the reality of the fact is, I knew I was going to marry you, and I knew we were going to be together. There was just a lot of ways in which it didn't go about the right way. But that started with manipulation to begin with, right?
I
So
mean, I mean, well, you said that the moment you heard my voice that you knew I was your husband.
yeah, I did.
Okay, but
But
then
that
that was,
doesn't mean
but
that you don't go through the proper
hold on,
steps.
hold on, hold
Look,
on.
let me meet
The
your
thing
mom and dad.
is,
Let me ask your mom for you. Let me ask your dad for your hand. Stuff like
no,
that.
no,
That
no,
don't
no,
mean
no.
that.
You're right about that. But manipulation started on your end when you lied about your age.
Well, I lied about my age. I did lie about my age, but I told you I lied about my age. Plus, there was nothing we could do about it at the time. You was in California. I did lie about my age. Period.
Okay, but that's manipulation, honey.
Whatever you want to call it. I did lie about my age for sure. I'm
because
not
you knew
denying.
that because you knew that you was talking to your husband. But I'm just saying it was not just manipulation on my part. It was not. That's all I'm trying to say. We don't have to go into it, but yeah, you're mad
No, I'm just trying to understand what was the point of that part. Like, is there
because
more?
you just brought up manipulation. You said guys don't manipulate by doing this, and I'm like, hold on, I was manipulated from the beginning when you told me that you was of age, and I thought that we could meet.
I
So
lied about my age. I did, but also there was no real way that we could actually connect. So we was just talking.
if you was the age that you said, we could connect. You come out to where I was at, or come
No,
to
I
where
just
you
wasn't.
was.
I get it. I do. But you lived in Kansas City. It wasn't gonna happen. Just letting you know.
Well, they didn't have planes back then.
They had plans.
Okay, so good. All right, all right. I don't want to be condescending or come across any type of way. I felt manipulated when I cannot explain my frustration when I found a perfect girl and I couldn't even be next to her because she was too young for me, and that's frustration. So for me, it might not be manipulation to you, but to me, it was manipulation because I fucking fell for you, and then I found out that I couldn't even be around you.
Yeah, but you didn't find out until 2 years later. Like, what are you talking about? Or a year later? A year later?
That yeah, so that's deep manipulation that you let me think for a whole year and fall for you that we could maybe have
That's
some.
not deep manipulation.
I was
I
like,
lied
hey,
about my age. What woman have you ever met that doesn't lie about their age? I just want to know. Now, hold on. First off, I'm being clear. I did lie about my age. I did. But I
but
just want to ask you a caveat question, just devil's advocate. What woman do you know don't lie about their
I
age?
don't care about other women. I'm talking about the woman that I fell for.
That's great. But have you ever met a woman that didn't lie about their age?
I don't ask women their age.
Oh, okay. So does this matter then?
It does, yes, because you said that I manipulated you, and I'm pointing
Yes,
out
you
that
did.
Huh?
But you did.
Okay.
Let's define manipulation since we sitting here talking about it. Hold on.
At one point, you told me that you lied about your age because you didn't want me to stop talking to you. And when I found out about your age, what did I do?
The action of manipulating someone in a clever or unscrupulous way. Let's go look at manipulating. Okay. Handle or control a tool or mechanism, typically in a skillful manner. Alter, edit, or move on a computer. Okay, so that's not what we're talking about. So examine and treat by feeling or okay, that would have did it. Control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfailing, and unscrupulously. Okay, I guess because I knew I was too young at the time, and I wanted to kind of get to know more and see that. I guess to some degree that is because I was cleverly lying that I was clever enough to lie about my age.
What you say?
Hold on, you muffled.
I said, what did she say?
She said lying is considered manipulation, mom.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. But that's okay. It's just, it just. I'm not saying that I did not manipulate certain things. I'm not at all. But there was frustration because I found my person. Like I knew.
Get down.
So there was a
No,
lot of frustration. So if we're gonna talk about manipulation and where it started, it was you. But I
I
followed
guess
up.
so. I guess
Huh?
so. I guess so.
Okay.
But I wasn't aware that what was going on. To be honest with you, that I lied for sure about my age. Okay, I did. But did me lying about my age, did that alter anything in the
Yes,
relationship?
it altered the fact that I could not come out there, or I couldn't send for you to come to me. That led to frustration. Like you was a perfect person. Like I would just wait for your call. Wait for your call.
All right. Well, I will just say this then, guys. Ladies, keep lying about your age, okay?
That is toxic. That's what we're gonna tell the youth. Go ahead and manipulate them. But if he manipulates you, call him on his bullshit. Like what?
Look, this is different though. It's different though. Like you
Yeah,
made
it's
me
different
change
because
my whole life up. You made me
it's
change my whole
different
life
because
up
it's
though. I didn't
convenient
make
for
you change your
you.
life. By me lying about my age, okay, here's the thing. Me lying about my age, who was to know? First off, the way I look at it is like this. When I lied about my age, I didn't have no understanding, no awareness that you and I were ever continue to talk past that one day.
No, I'm talking about past the point where you said you heard my voice and you knew that I was your husband.
Yeah, okay. So then at that point, I talked to you, but at the same time, like in the physical, even though I had this vibe and this feeling, that's still not an indication that there was going to be truth to that down the line. And what I mean by that is this: sometimes you might have a vibe or a feeling, but you don't know that that's going to impact the rest of your life, even if you have that feeling.
See, I based most of my
It's
life
true
off.
though.
That's fine. That's the truth for you. I based off everything. When you said you knew that I was your husband, and
I did.
I was like, okay. So, if to me, when I found out that I couldn't even be around you, or couldn't even be talking to you, that's fucking frustrating.
I get it.
Very, very frustrating. And hey, women, stay toxic if you feel like lying about your age. That's fine. But make sure he manipulates you, you call him on his bullshit.
I
But
don't know, but the thing is, my manipulation didn't alter your life though.
it, hold on, say when we first met, you was 19 and we was cool as hell. Do you think I wouldn't came out there? I had a good ass job too. I was working for the county. I was working in Jackson County at a maximum security juvenile facility, and I had a fucking
You
uh
never did though.
yeah, because I found out you was
Yeah,
yes, you're right.
let's find out when did you find out I was younger than 18 though? When? Because that would change the story. Because if you found out a year later, then you never came out in a year. So no, it didn't change anything.
You think it's? I was still working at okay. When did we first? Okay, Ask yourself that and think back about it, and then we'll revisit it. I won't even tell you the timeline, and you think it was a year. It was not a year.
I will say this.
Hold on. Did I make plans? I was like, hey, I'm gonna come out there, or why don't you come up here? And you was like, well, I can't. And I was like, I don't understand why.
Oh yeah,
That's how we. That's how I found out about your age. I'm like, I don't understand.
that happened. That happened for sure. I was like, I can't.
So you sitting here saying that it was a whole year and I wasn't trying to come see you or get.
I don't remember. I don't remember that deeply as far as if it was a year or if it was 3 weeks. It could have been 3 weeks. I was telling you that. I don't know.
It wasn't a year and it was longer than 3 weeks. We was on. I remember a whole bunch of things. I remember that you and your mom drove to St. Louis. I said, go to St. Louis, y'all. Went right past Kansas City. Why you ain't stop? He was like, I don't think that would have been a good idea. And I'm like,
well, first off, by then I don't think I had ever talked to. I don't think at that time I had talked to my mom about you, and I think that was what it was. Like I don't think I had told her about you. Like I wanted to. It wasn't me and my mom at the time. I don't think we. I was scared of my mom. To be honest, okay. So it wasn't like, Mom, I wasn't like, Mom, I want to go see this guy. I wasn't, that was not our experience. And there was a lot of girls that I knew that had that experience with their mom. Like, Mom, I met this guy. Can I go see him? Da, da, da. It wasn't like that with me and my mama. Me and my mama didn't have that experience. And it's okay. I'm okay that we didn't have that experience because in reality, I'm okay with that.
But
I'm okay
so
with that.
the thing is that I did make efforts. That's how I finally found out that she was underage because she's like, I can't. Actually, I didn't really think about it, but I know that I most definitely, because I even told you, I was like, I got vacation time coming and I'll come out there and see you. I ain't never been to Cali. So, no, I did make efforts, but you sat there and said that I never did, or in the whole year I didn't. And that's not.
I'm not saying you never did. I asked you, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Maybe you did. And I do remember being like, can't do it. Sorry, nope. So you're right. I guess I did kind of manipulate because not only that, but I had told my little brother that I had met you before, just so that I wouldn't be judged. And so my mom thought that I had met you and you had come out, and it wasn't true because I was just making sure my little brother wasn't on. You know what I mean? It was one of those.
Back in that time, like now, type of age, it's acceptable to be somebody online. Like we was ahead of the curve, like we
Right,
are with
like
everything.
we was literally the first people to be like in a relationship from an online dating thing or something like that, and it wasn't even meant for that. It was meant for friendship and shit, like gatherings. And I don't know what it was meant for. I think it was the beta. We were the beta testers.
I remember the first time I did go to Cali to meet your mom. You was pregnant with our daughter, and we went out there for baby shower, and I was like, after everything happened, the first day we went to lay down. I was like, why your mom looking at me like that? I was like, why she is side eyeing me? And he was like, oh,
I don't know if I noticed it.
Huh?
I don't know if I noticed it.
Yeah, of course you probably didn't. I did. She was like, the whole time she looking at me. And I think the next day, it was the next day she kept on looking at me. And I was like, man, I started getting uncomfortable. And I was like, man, it's beautiful out here. I ain't never been to California. And she was like, you ain't never been to California? I was like, no, it's my first time. And she looked at me like I was lying. I'm like,
I remember because I was
like, no, for real, I ain't never been to California.
I was like, oh, let me clear that up. No, what happened was this.
and I say this, you cleared it up right there and then because I was confused. She was confused.
Let me clear this up real quick because my mom was looking at you hard, like you a lying ass, dirty ass,
pedophile ass.
Right.
You done got my baby pregnant. I'm like, what? I was confused as hell.
I remember that. I do remember that conversation because I was like, let me interject real quick. Man, that's crazy though. It's kind of funny though. Not really funny, but it just kind of lets you know how, to me. So first off, in this channel, we talk a lot about like the spiritual and life, spiritual ramifications of various different things, and you can really see the karma in our situations where Gino was completely in a situation where he was not aware of any understanding that my mom was side-eyeing him or why she would side-eye him. She thought he was lying and lying. It was me that lied to begin with. Okay. So now both of these two people are at odds for no reason. Right?
I wasn't even at odds with her. I was just confused. Like,
well, not really like at odds, but just there's a uncomfortability here, right?
yeah.
But also,
because one thing, moms always like me. That's why I was like, oh shit, moms always like me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm good. I ain't scared to be their moms. And I'm like, I ain't never experienced this. Like,
I'm gonna have to take a few days to sit here and wonder, like, if everything was different, how would that have turned out? Like, how would you meeting my mom have turned out? I'm gonna have to sit here a couple days and mull over what that actually would look like.
I think that, well, you're not asking my opinion, but this is unsolicited. I think she still would have had her concerns.
Reservations for sure. Because she didn't
difference.
like the fact that you were older than me. She didn't like that.
But I'll tell you this.
No, he's too old. She didn't like that. She didn't like that.
I think by the time that we jumped back on the plane to go to Florida, your mom did like me. And I know that when we went up to Atlanta for your uncle's graduation, she really liked me. You know what I mean? Like, she might have been mad at me about some stuff where I interceded in y'all relationship where I was like, no, you're not going to talk to her like that. We might have had a little bump heads right there. But other than that, your mom has always been like, nah, I like Cheeto. At least I thought. I could be wrong.
I don't disagree. I feel like I was just trying to think back to like
I remember your uncle's his, I don't know if his baby mama or his wife at the time. She this is how I knew your mom liked me. She was like, oh, you got pretty hair. This is when my hair was long. She's like, you got some pretty hair. Let me braid your hair. And my mother-in-law was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Quite did not play about Cheeto. So I don't know. Do you remember that?
I remember everything. Almost everything. I remember almost everything. I just, I think ultimately it's just looking back at everything, sometimes I wonder how things would be different if things were different. I would say that.
No, don't get stuck in that because I'll stay in that energy. What if? What if? What if? What if? What if? What if you just old enough? You know what I mean? Just with that question alone, like when I met you, what if you was old enough? Everything would have been different because I would have came out there. I would have came out there.
Like, I'm being honest with you, even though I could have kept lying about my age and you would have been like, oh, I can come out there. I said no because I wasn't ready.
That's fine. And that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No matter what age I was talking to y'all, stuff like that. You was like, I can come out there. And I was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea because I wasn't ready. And I knew I wasn't ready at the time. And that's just it.
I didn't know that. I know it now, but.
Yeah, but even when, like, every time I had the opportunity to come out and see you, I wasn't ready. And I knew I wasn't ready.
Well, that hurt, you know what?
And I know that hurts you, but also.
Yeah, it does. Because I was so in love. I was so. But I appreciate it.
Even when I came out here, I wasn't fully ready.
It was just a whole bunch of exterior things I didn't even know about.
It was like, I thought come out here that some other girl's gonna take me from you and da da da. So that's why I absolutely had to come at that time. But even then, if that wasn't placed in my face, I wouldn't have come as fast as I came.
Yes,
I still would have dragged it out a little more because I knew at those times for me were times where I knew I was still gaining more understanding, more awareness of myself, and these are things that I was aware of at 19. Like, even in my mind, 18, 19, I was still aware of those things.
In my mind, it was set like, I'm gonna move to Florida. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna send for you. So the first thing I did after I unpacked and moved down here is write you that letter and sent it. And I was like, "Ooh, please let her get this. Let her call me." So in my mind, it was like, I didn't know none of that, babe. I didn't know that you wasn't ready. In my mind, I was like, I want my wife here.
A lot of times we looking at it and we're like, oh, it's because of age or it's because of this. No, really, it wasn't. I was just mentally and emotionally, I knew I was not ready. And I was in those moments when I would think about those things, I'd be like, I'm not ready. Like, those are the conclusions myself came to when we had those conversations. I'm not ready. Like, it wasn't about you. It wasn't about my age. It was me knowing I'm not ready right now.
I wish you would have told me that. especially during that time. I was pretty upset. I would have been hurt. It still hurts me to hear you say it now, but I
It's
just
not
would have made.
meaningful to you though. It's just me. The thing about it is, I recognize I've always been very self aware. It's not about what you've done or not done. It was about me and where I was and where I knew I needed to do
I was
experiences.
rushing you. I like that's what the age I was rushing you. I knew I found my wife, and I didn't want to waste no more time. I did not want to live life without you no more, and I didn't know you wasn't ready. That would have been a good conversation to have. Like, hey, I like you, I enjoy talking to you, but I'm really not ready. Like, that's something that would have been very beneficial. You know what I mean? And I could have told you like, no, I could just see the whole conversation going down because I'm like, I moved down here so we could be together, so I get away from all distractions, and then I did get desperate, and then here we go. So I understand. I did not know that it does hurt because I moved down here. I wanted to change my life so I could be with you. I knew you wouldn't like Kansas City. I know you wouldn't like Kansas City me.
Hence why we never met while we was in Kansas City.
Yeah, but I would have came to. All right, Quay.
I mean, if you want to be honest, I'll be honest.
That's why I don't win no argument. I could be right on all kind of points and still. If you would have been old enough, but you say you wasn't ready, so it wouldn't have
I
mattered.
wasn't ready. Like you're not understanding. Like it wasn't about you. It wasn't about what you was doing. I was not ready, and I knew
Why
I was
would
not.
you act like you wanted to see me and wanted to be with me and I'm gonna be your husband? You was
You was
leading
gonna
me
be my
on.
husband. I heard your voice on the phone when I first heard your voice. I said, "This is my husband." My body, my being, everything knew that you were my husband. So that's the truth, and isn't it the truth? It's 2024 right now. It's about to be Christmas 2024. Shut Merry goddamn Christmas to those of you who celebrate, okay?
Yeah, why you smack me with your drink?
But the reality is, isn't you my husband? We 20 years down the line.
Yeah, you're right.
I read the statistics and they said people who get married at these types of ages and stuff like that don't last 5 years. We 20 years in.
I don't want to get emotional, so I'm just going. That's the first time I heard that you wasn't ready. It puts everything in perspective, and I would have slowed down. And you know what? I wish we would have had that conversation because I'd have got things better off. And I was like, well, let me know. Uh, it just would have changed a lot. So I mean, the what if games, like you said, don't change nothing. But I was so quick to move down here and just be like, I'm ready for my wife. Like this, I finally get to. She old enough too, my nigga. Like,
But when we look back at it, you wasn't ready either.
no, you're right.
You're
I
right.
wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. To be honest with you, I thought I was. I was ready to change and become the person. Huh? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I ain't saying nothing.
I thought I was until you fail and you bump your head on shit. And then I realized, like, damn, maybe I wasn't ready. But I was. I knew by the end that you. I wanted you as my wife. I needed you in my life.
Well, I will say this, and this is more from a healed space and a healed understanding. What is yours is yours. What's meant to be yours will be me. Will be yours. When I met you, and I got the awareness that you were my husband. Even when you talked to Jamie and Shiny, I was not under any kind of threat that would be ruining our future together.
Then
There,
why would you let Rakita ruin it then?
I didn't. You did.
You're right. I just want to see what you're gonna say because you be on point. I'm just trying to learn from you.
You told me, oh, she's gonna da da da. And like, okay, well, let me do something about this. But even though at those times, I knew then still at those times I was not ready to be a wife or to be married. I knew
Yeah.
I could do the job and I could do it well. But to ultimately for me, I don't think that was the level I wanted to. I feel like I wanted to be more expanded or more just grown a little more grown.
And that's fair. And to be honest with you, that's all the way fair. There was a conversation we had, and you had it on your on this channel, and you was like the day that we got married, you was dragging your feet because you was having cold feet. I didn't even know. You had told me it was like I don't want to live like this without us being married. And I'm like, oh shit, I'll marry you right now. I was like I
My
said,
mom wasn't there. You didn't meet
no,
my
no,
mom. Like it was all kind of shit. The reason why it wasn't right.
no,
That's
I
why
get that,
I was like,
but you
oh,
told me,
right.
but when we had the original conversation,
If it was done in the right way, that wouldn't have happened.
okay, no, I know, but I'm just saying, but you had put the pressure on me. It's like I don't want to be an unmarried mother, and I'm like, I would love to marry you. That's why I was so eager because, like I said, I wanted you to come down here. I wanted you to be my wife. Like I remember my cousin Tori saying he ain't looking for no girlfriend. He's looking for his wife.
That's fine. Like, and the thing is, I wasn't in that space where I was looking for a boyfriend either. But also, regardless of, and then that's the thing, like you might think so from a male perspective, a male might think when I say I wasn't ready, that meant that I wanted to sow my seeds. No, I wanted to
I didn't feel
grow.
that.
I wanted to grow into who I could be, which meant that I felt at those times what was most important was for me to gain understanding um, about my own personal boundaries, about my own ultimate desires in life, so that there would never be an opportunity where I could blame you for not reaching my own potential, or there would never be a moment where I could blame you for not doing what you had to do because I probably most likely would have checked you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I
But
didn't have time to prime for those things. There were just more things that I needed to know and learn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was more, I needed more time, period.
and you know what? Hearing it now, like I understand.
It wasn't
I,
about being with other men. It was about growing more as a woman. Like, that's it.
I understand that now. It's just a conversation I wish we could have had back then because I would be like, look, I do want to marry you. I understand. My whole thing is that it was pressure for me because I didn't want to lose you. So I'm like, whatever you need me to do, what I gotta prove to you, like I've been around women, I know I want you. So if it was a conversation, you were like, hey, I'm just not ready. I could have it would have helped me adjust, and that's why I say our communication's always been a little bit off. Not a lot because we did enjoy each other. Like you just saying, hey, I'm not trying to break up or we're gonna still do this, but I just need more time. I would have handled it totally different. That's easy for me to say now. Also,
It
I'll say
is
that.
coming from the man who rushed me here to begin with.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
that is 100% fair. You know,
No, yep. Saying coming from the woman who's not ready, who said I'm her husband, and she lied about her age too, though.
you were my husband. It didn't matter. The thing is, I think the lesson here is that what's yours is yours. What's meant to be yours is yours anyway. It don't matter how much time it take to get there.
Yeah.
Because I knew who you were. I was deadlocked on that. I didn't know that you were deadlocked on me.
10 toes, 2 feet down. Like, nah, that's like when you came down here, think about everywhere. Oh, this is her, huh? Like everybody knew about you. Everybody, all my cousins, like, nah, I'm good. I got this girl, man. Nope, she the one. You didn't know that. That sucks. That sucks that you didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, all the theatrics, all that. Duh. Oh, sucks. It's just like one of them things, like just oh so close, but yet so far.
Word. Wow. That's real shit right there. That just is what it is, though, you know. But I will say this. I will say that you know, it's been great. Like I've enjoyed this experience. Like I if I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't do it different. I mean, I would do a couple things different. I ain't gonna lie. Let me say that again. I would do a few things different, but I wouldn't do the choice different. You know, I
If I
went
knew
with you, and
if,
I'm
if,
honest with you,
if I knew
as
you wasn't ready, I would have gave you more time.
any
I
of the
just
people that got together with somebody at the time that me and you got together are not still together.
I didn't catch that.
Most of the people that got together at the time that me and you got together are not still together.
That's true.
And when we got together, it wasn't just like, oh, we can just get a divorce if this doesn't work out. I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking this is my dude. Like we gonna be together. So
And you know what? When you said this stuff the other day, and I was like, you're right. Yeah, I am gonna be like that tomorrow because you my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I sit here and hope. I still try to give everything I got. Now it's some embarrassing shit that goes on. You know what I mean? But overall, no, this is my baby. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit my ass down until I figure this out. Until we be where we supposed to be. You still
yeah,
that person to me.
I get that, but
I
yeah,
I, I get it.
that disrespect is too much for me. I'm sorry, I can't.
But the disrespect ain't just been one way though.
But it has been mostly one way.
Oh, we're gonna agree to disagree on that one.
We can, and if you want to elaborate with that, that's fine. I can. I'm willing to hear your elaboration so I can understand what you're saying. But I will say that for me, the way in which I'm thinking, the way that you disrespect me is doing too much, and I'm not dealing with that. So I love you
That's fair enough.
as I
You
do.
know what?
But I'm
I
gonna
feel
have to
like
move myself out of here and go and get my own place, and I'm gonna have to catch you on the fly. That kind of hurts, but it is what it is.
I got nothing. All I say is that I'm hearing that you not ready still or right now. For whatever reasons, every action is a reaction. I don't. I got to accept it for what it is, man. Uh, I still you still that one, man. You're the only one I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah, this ain't about readiness though.
No, you're not ready to. Okay, well, like I said, let me go ahead and just. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Do appreciate the dialogue, the conversation. I respect how you feel. I acknowledge how you feel. Uh, Basically, there's nothing I can do, nothing I can say. So I'll do that.
Well, Merry New Year's. I mean, not Merry New Year's. Merry Christmas Eve. Alrighty. Thanks, Claus. I just saw your message. I'm sorry it took me a little while to respond to it, but we've been kind of in the conversation. Anyway, tonight we were talking a little bit about accountability. This conversation went a little bit further. I do probably want to come back to to a different conversation, not this conversation, but a different conversation for sure. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to end it here because I need to go cry, okay? And I want to cry in my own privacy. Um, um, Maybe something out of this video you can learn from. That's it. Good night.